Hello and welcome to your online physical education course. My name is Mr. Johnson and I'll be teaching this class this marking period. In this introductory video, I just want to go over some of the key things to get you started, kind of talk through the expectations, talk through what you need to do, and just set you on the path toward success here. So right now we're looking at the Schoology course, or the Schoology page for our course. This is the main page where you'll access pretty much everything you need. I want to start by looking over the syllabus. Understanding that we are in the online environment, we will never see each other face to face. But if you ever need to utilize Zoom, just let me know. I'll be happy to set up a Zoom where we can meet and chat and go over anything you need. As a Block Zero course, you don't have a dedicated time, like on a Monday. So if you need it, just let me know and I'll be happy to set something up. The app that we use for this course is called Pacer. And in the next folder, I'm going to go over everything there is to know about Pacer. But it's a free fitness app that acts as a pedometer, which means that it tracks the number of steps that you take. Now, in the event you have a Fitbit or a Garmin or something like that that you already are using to track your fitness, if that's the case, shoot me an email, let me know, I'll take a look at the situation and maybe you can use that instead of Pacer. But most people don't have that type of thing, so if you don't, Pacer is the way to go. If you don't have a cell phone, you're going to be responsible for completing a series of written assignments in place of your regular physical activity. So let me know as soon as possible so I can get you set up and get you started. If you wait 2 weeks to tell me you don't have a phone, that doesn't mean you're excused for 2 weeks. It just means that you're now 2 weeks behind. So you want to get caught up as soon as possible. Also, you cannot substitute outside physical activities such as sports practice or band as proof of physical activity unless you're able to keep your cell phone on you during the activity and can track your steps. A lot of students have jobs, and what they do is they put their phone in their pocket when they go to work, and they just count the number of steps while they're working. I had a student just last marking period who worked at a grocery store, was getting carts, and that student would get several thousand steps each shift. Made things easy for them. The steps count because you're physically active, and that's ultimately what we care about. So for grading, it's pretty straightforward. The number of points you get is out of 10, and your grade is a direct decimal of the steps you walk each submission, according to Pacer. For example, if you walk 8,674 steps, your grade is an 8.6 out of 10. If you walk 4,356 steps, your score is a 4.3 out of 10. Generally speaking here, you need to average 7,000 steps in order to pass the class. If you're below 7, that puts you below 70%, and you're going to need to pull that up down the line with some 9s and 10s. So the goal, based on what you want to get in this class, and assuming you all want A's, you want to get at least 9,000 steps per day. How did we come to the number 10,000? Very simple. The average person walks about 5,000 steps per day. We recommend, according to the CDC and the American Heart Association, that you get about 2 miles worth of activity each day to be healthy. That's just moderately active. 2 miles is roughly equal to 5,000 steps. So when you add those two together, you get 10,000 steps. So all screenshots must be submitted in Schoology by Friday at 2:30 p.m. of each week. Please note, you may use any day from the previous week to submit your steps. For example, if a week of class starts on Monday, February 15th and it runs through Friday, February 19th, you may use any day from Saturday, February 13th through the 19th. So for most weeks, you are going to have to submit 5 screenshots because there are 5 days of school. If there are fewer than 5 days of school, maybe like next week, for example, because we have President's Day, there's only 4 school days, that means there's only 4 submissions. But the number of days you can pick from will always remain the same. You'll always have 7 days to pick your top 5 or top 4, whatever it is each week. Now, if you are unable to complete Pacer submissions due to medical issues, and COVID isn't necessarily a medical issue, if you're quarantining, we'll talk about that. But again, the cell phone thing, just again, let me know as soon as possible so I can get you set up with our alternative assignments. So let's look at the Pacer app itself. In the folder, Understanding Our Fitness app, there's all this good stuff. This PDF will explain the steps in which you get Pacer. If you're using an iPhone, you pop into the App Store. This is what the app looks like. If you're using Android, you go into Google Play. This is what the app looks like. Download the app, install it on your phone, and create a profile. Quick note about creating a profile. When you first fire up the app, it'll ask you for things like your birthday and stuff like that. If you look in the top right corner, it says skip. I recommend skipping it because it gets a little wonky with birth dates, especially if you're under the age of 16. So just skip that altogether and don't worry about it. You can use your personal email address, you can use your BASD email address and password. Whatever you want is fine for creating your profile. The only thing that really matters is that you use your actual name as your username. Because when you join our group, I need to know who you are. So if you pop in as some weird nickname that I don't know who that is, I won't be able to verify your activity and you won't get credit. So please make sure you use either your last name, first initial, or your full name. Avoid using just your first name because there's a good chance someone else in the class may have your name. So just make sure that's very clear. If it's unclear, you'll hear from me when you start getting zeros because I can't figure out who you are. So make sure you take care of that. Now, the screenshot that you need to take each day looks just like this. You'll see there's a couple important things here. Obviously, number one being the steps. Number two, we've got your calories, your active time, the number of miles you traveled. And then up here is probably the second most important thing. It's the date. It's the date. I need to see the date on your screenshots. If I can't see the date, I can't give you credit because there's only a small window for each week that count. If you try to submit a day from outside the window, you don't get credit. Now, the reason we have an arrow pointing to this little calendar, if you go, let's say today, you're active, today's February 1st, you're doing stuff out in the snow, you're playing in the snowstorm, whatever, and you end up with 12,000 steps. Tomorrow comes and you realize, oh my gosh, I forgot to get a screenshot from yesterday. Thankfully, you can access any day that you've had the app by clicking that little calendar. It'll bring up every day and you just click on the day you want to access and it gets you back to this screen right here for that day. So really, at the end of a week, if you wanted to submit all your screenshots at one time, you could. You could just go and access that calendar icon and pick the 4 or 5 days that you need and submit them all in one shot. So backing out of this, again, here's a sample of the screenshot. We put it there just so there's no confusion as to what it needs to look like. And then the last thing here is joining our course group. To join our course group, you need to scan this QR code. If you have an iPhone, special note here, it's weird sometimes. The iPhone will scan this and it'll do weird stuff. It'll say you can't join the group or it'll just keep taking you into the app. Just keep trying. Eventually you will get there. We don't know what it is with iPhones, that they don't play nicely, but eventually it does work. If you're an Android user, you really shouldn't have any issues. The only thing you need to figure out is how to scan the QR code. If you have a Google Pixel or something like that, it's intuitive, but some of the Samsungs require something different. So if you're unsure, just Google how to scan a QR code on whatever brand of phone you have. This is very important. If you don't join the class group, you cannot receive credit because I need to be able to verify the number of steps you are submitting. In the Pacer app, I'll be able to see your past 7 days. So the screenshot needs to match up to what Pacer actually recorded. Next item. As I mentioned, there may be times where you are not able to be as active as you usually are. Maybe it's a day like today where we've got a blizzard, or perhaps you are told to quarantine due to exposure to COVID and you're stuck inside your house. That's understandable, and we've prepared for that by creating this folder, PE walking and exercising videos. We have a bunch of different videos in here that you can do without needing to leave about a 3-foot space. You stand right in front of your Chromebook, fire up these videos, and you can get a good number of steps. In fact, we've broken down the number of steps that you're going to get for each video, the number of steps that you can anticipate in just a little bit of time. So here's a 30-minute fast walking video that'll get you approximately 4,000 steps. Maybe you don't want to do walking videos, you want to do something a little more high intensity. Great, we got you covered there too. Here's a 30-minute hip hop video workout. Again, 3,000 to 4,000 steps. Just keep your phone on you, either in your pocket or in your hand, and it will record the steps. We have tested these videos. We know they work. We know the number of steps that you're going to get. So it is an option in the event you can't leave. If you're stuck inside for whatever reason, these videos become key. There is never an excuse to not get steps. So please keep that in mind. Last but not least in this video, I'm going to show you where you make your weekly submissions, and it's right here. Each week you'll see a new folder publishes with the dates, and these are where you make your unique submissions. If I can make a recommendation, it would be to download and utilize the Schoology app because it makes things so easy. Once you finish a day and you want to take a screenshot, you pop into Pacer, you snap the screenshot on your phone, open up the Schoology app, go into the actual submission, and you just need to pull the image from your camera roll into the submission. It takes about 10 seconds. It's super easy, super intuitive. If you don't have the Schoology app and you're not comfortable using it, your process is a bit more cumbersome in that you'll have to email the screenshot to yourself and then get it submitted as an attachment in Schoology on your Chromebook. Again, completely up to you, but that's a basic idea of how the course is going to operate. Your grade is solely based on the number of steps you take and the number of screenshots you submit. So please make sure you are staying on top of things. In the event you ever see a 0 with a submission, please view the feedback associated with the assignment. I will explain in the feedback why you got a 0. If you see a 0 and you email me and say, Mr. Johnson, I got a 0, can you tell me why? My response is probably going to be, check the feedback. That's why it's there. It's there to help you. You can always resubmit if you're fixing it quickly within the week. You can still get full credit because maybe you just made a simple mistake. Maybe the date got cut off, or maybe you submitted the same date twice. You'll see that in the feedback and you can fix it. That's pretty much it. Make sure you're getting stuff submitted. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me via email, djohnson@basdschools.org, and best of luck with the upcoming marking period.